Hey everybody, we
Hey,
are back. We are back and
we're
super
back.
excited. We are John and Dr. Edna, and we are with Wealth and Wisdom, and we are back again with our leadership and series. So our leadership and series is really just two leaders talking to other leaders,
Having a conversation.
having a conversation about leading well.
Mhm.
That's what it is. And so our leadership and our topic for today is gender roles. So before we get into that, John is going to tell us about Wealth and Wisdom, just a little bit about what we do.
Well, Wealth of Wisdom is a coaching and consulting firm driven to promote personal growth and leadership development of oneself as a spouse, as a parent, and as a leader. And we're excited about talking about that tonight.
We really are. So it is nighttime, just so you know. And we was getting ready to go to bed, and John's like, you know what? Let's hop on and let's do a leadership and series and talk about gender roles.
Yeah.
And how did we get here? Because in our house, we ain't really got none.
We ain't got no gender roles.
No, we ain't really got none. Everybody do their part.
We share this thing.
And everybody does what they need to do to
Right.
make sure that we are leading well in our marriage, leading well as parents, and even leading ourselves well as individuals. So I would say that we do have some roles that each of us lean into, I would say, but we have not assigned gender roles because you're the husband, you're supposed to do this. And because you're the wife, you're supposed to do this. But we just approach it from our strengths, what, each other is good at. And then we also kind of just think about availability too. That's a really big thing for us.
Schedule. We got, our schedule may lend to me cooking all the meals one week and may lend to me picking up the girls depending on our schedules. Like, for example, we both are leaders in our own right, leading different areas of people. And so we have to look at our schedules. Our schedule may demand us to go in early. Our schedule may demand us to stay late. But we communicate those things at the top of the week before we go into the week, just so that, hey, how are we spousing this week? How are we parenting this week? And then how are we leading as well?
I like that. Yeah. Now, you ain't even said that to me.
Spousing and parenting. Spousing and parenting.
Making up words, but I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's talk about gender roles and let's get into that a little bit.
Okay.
So when I think about gender roles, I think about when we first got married. We didn't have our first daughter until we were, I want to say, 7 years into our marriage. So we got married in 2007, and then our first daughter came in 2014. And I will tell you, there were no gender roles when I had that baby. Now, I did have the baby, okay? And I think the only role that was specific to me was nursing. Other than that, our good buddy over here, he did everything.
I ain't gifted with putting them on the breast. I'm not gifted.
Wait a minute. We don't have to do that. But you know what we mean. So he was really, really good at just jumping in and engaging in every aspect of the process of whatever had to get done. If that's changing diapers, getting up and feeding in the middle of the night, even trying to, get her dressed, all the things. So everything that I had to learn, he took the initiative to make sure that he learned too. So it's not, this idea that people talk about, well, the daddy kept the child. What you mean? He the daddy.
So when Jessica came off the nip,
wait now,
the baby came over to
nursing,
me, patting on the back,
yes,
making sure she burped.
He did the burping,
yes. And once I got her, that good burp. Once I got that good burp, I was able to lay her down.
Yeah.
And we go back to sleep, and then she may wake up 2 hours later. I want some more food. Hey, I'll go get her out the bassinet. Did I say it right? Bassinet.
Yes, the bassinet.
I'm country a little bit, so I said bassinet, not the basket, the bassinet. So get out the bassinet. Hey, she hungry. Give them to my wife, and then we went through that process. Once she got through feeding, bring over to me, burp her again, change diapers.
So he did.
We had to
everything.
navigate that season.
But I will say there are some things, like I said, we lean into our strengths. And also, I will say we lean into our preferences. So, Edna Jones Miller don't take out the garbage. Not notice I said garbage. I have
Right.
the first time. So we've been in our house since 2020. And I think the first time I took out the garbage was probably a year ago because he was out of town.
Yeah, I had to travel.
And he had to travel. And I didn't even know like what day the trash goes out. I still don't. I don't know those things. I don't keep up with that. And that's not because we designated that as a gender role or something that he's supposed to do as a husband, but that's just something I don't like to do.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. So he takes responsibility and accountability for that. But then there are some things that I do that I will lean into because that's my strength.
Right.
And something that he may prefer that I would do. So if he's got to write something up real quick and he's got to think of something real quick and he's like, okay, I'm going to just write down my thoughts and I need you to ethnatize this. That's what he calls
Flush it out. Flush it out and ethnatize it.
That's what he calls it, ethnatize. I need you to ethnatize it. That means I need you to edit this, clean this up, and lean into your strength for me. So that's sort of just kind of how some small examples of how we lean into our strengths and we play off of each other and we support each other with whatever is happening. And we do not subscribe to gender roles because we believe that a partnership is not built on that.
Right.
That's just not the foundation.
And when we started our journey of marriage, she started a master's program. And so during the master's program, and then soon after a doctorate. And so I made sure she had everything that she needed, because once I was done early on as teaching, grading papers and stuff like that, she was still writing and working in the office. So there were times where I had to make sure she had snacks, she had lunch, she had dinner, because she would spend hours in the room writing papers and working on presentations. And so I took on, quote unquote, the role of cooking in the house. And so making sure she had everything. And then once she started that doctorate, that PhD program, some days, she woke up, rolled out, brushed teeth, got herself together, went into the office, and she didn't come out. She spent an 8-hour day. So I had to make sure I cooked breakfast, cooked the omelet. She don't like wet eggs. She don't like wet eggs. So if it's
like
running
dry,
a little bit, she likes
brown.
it dry, a little brown. So made her omelets and, took her that, filled up her water cup, made lunch and had dinner, different things like that. So I assumed that role when she was working on the doctor because she needed to focus, she needed to get in on that. So the roles will adjust. And then likewise, once I started working on my master's, the roles switched again, where I started focusing on writing those papers and she took the lead, and then we just worked through it of supporting the girls, spousing and parenting, and then that lend itself to building our capacity to lead as well.
Yeah. And I think what's key for me, as he was saying that, is that we work hard to anticipate each other's needs. So each of us, so I don't know if you've ever heard of the term armor bearers, but both of us served as armor bearers for about 7 years.
Or assistants
to pastors for about 7 years. And part of that role was to be able to anticipate the needs of your leaders, to watch and to pray and to discern and to know what the need is in the moment. And so that's really kind of how we serve each other, is to anticipate each other's needs by watching and praying and discerning and then knowing what is needed in the moment. So now y'all know, we are also associate pastors, so we're gonna throw some prayer up in there. So you gotta pray, and ask God to give you guidance and direction about what it is that your spouse needs and what your marriage needs, what your relationship needs, in order for you to lead well, lead each other well, and to make sure that you're not relying on society's definition of whatever the man is supposed to be doing and what the wife is supposed to be doing, but you rely on the word of God, and then you also rely on each other to make sure you're spending time with each other. Your spouse well, you can anticipate what it is that they need, and that you are modifying and making adjustments as you go based on what the need is in the moment.
And let me talk about one quick parenting component of gender roles. Like most recently, I had to pick up our daughters from school, and then my oldest daughter, came home and said, "Hey, it's that time of the month. And I needed to run to the store anyway. And then most dads, they get in the mind, oh, I'm not taking my daughter to go buy those items during her time of the month. And so I was like, I'm going to pick out, I know you need a number 1 or a number 2. You got some wipes to make sure she's good. She's like, Daddy, I got to go. I said, let's go. And so for me, I'm comfortable with parenting in that gender role or that space to support my daughter because she was in need. So as a dad, I need to parent or lead in that standpoint. Hey, I'm not finna hide you. Hey, hurry up and get this and throw this in the basket. No, I picked out you. Hey, here's the level 1, here's the level 2. What do you need? And we got that specifically what she needed. And I led her through that moment, let her know that, hey, my dad has supported me in one of the most trying and, not trying, but a personal time that I was able to help lead her through.
And it's a growth moment for her. He just put a business out there, but that's all right. She growing up.
Don't tell her. She ain't watching this. She gonna be all right.
No, she ain't gonna see it, but still. But our time is up. And so as we have mentioned before, we would love if you would like and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, you can visit all of our other social media,
Instagram, Facebook.
That's right. Instagram and Facebook. Also our website, at wealthandwisdomlive.com. Reach out to us, but just join us in these conversations. We love sharing the wisdom that God has given us, and we love just kind of reflecting on our experience and sharing whatever it is that we have that might add value to your life. So we appreciate you. And of course, today we talked about leadership and gender roles, of which, of course, we're saying we don't really have them. But we are thankful that you have joined us, and we hope that you'll continue with us on this journey.
Have a good one.
All right. Take care.